loves, and welcome back to Spook Manor. Are you here for a stellar tale of galactic proportions? Then join me as we follow a young couple through the Arizona deserts. Dave and Sydney are a couple that is hopelessly in love. High school sweethearts, they managed to keep a strong relationship through their college years and into the struggles of adulthood. Sydney, a spiritualist, a dreamer, and self-proclaimed seeker of truth in the realms of that which cannot be proven. She is a child of the 90s, and while others of her generation devolved, according to her, into the fantasies of reality TV, she and her best friend Angela remained close in their beliefs that the truth is out there. Dave, on the other hand, is a proud skeptic. He seemed to always be the voice of reason. Over the years, he had prevented the girls from falling to the whims of con artists, self-proclaimed gurus, and psychics whose tactics are easily debunked. Most of the time, he would stay quiet and respectful of their ventures, putting a halt to it only when it began to cost him financially. It's amazing how psychic premonitions and visions of the future happen to fade away when you cut off the money train. To this, Sydney and Angela were always grateful for his protective and loving nature. They're an ideal couple. He keeps her logical, while she keeps him on a search for clear and provable answers. Their conflicting perceptions inspire each of them to expand their minds, and this trust in one another has brought them even closer throughout the years. They share a profound love so strong that it is often perceived as paranormal to those looking in from the outside. Angela, Sydney's childhood friend and proud paranormal researcher, shares Sydney's love for that which is unexplained. Not a day goes by without tales of urban legends and mysterious stories flying between them. So when Angela decided to make a business move to Sedona, Sydney was heartbroken. It is a long drive from their Northern California home to the Arizona town known best for spiritualism, paranormal activity, and UFO sightings. Though the two best friends stay in constant communication, there just seems to be something missing without the physical contact. Dave could see the grief taking hold of his dear wife and suggested a visit that summer. The exciting prospect brought new life to Sydney, and the trip was set in motion. Dave was well known for being able to handle the long drive. They had traveled the country on numerous occasions. Legend tripping was their favorite pastime, going in search of hidden Bigfoots, haunted locations, and the mysteries of the world. As they reached a long, vast highway through the barren desert, Dave glanced over at his sweetheart, who lay sleeping in the passenger seat. She was resting peacefully with her hair hanging messy about her delicate face. Dave could feel himself fading, and as though Sydney could telepathically detect his need for stimulation, she slowly opened her eyes and smiled up at him. It was such a peaceful night, with the celestial bodies shining bright against the dark sky. They had not seen another car for hours, and the stars appeared to glow even brighter without homes or city lights in the distance. Casually, he asked her if she needed a restroom, and she laughed with a teasing question. Where? There certainly wasn't a place to pull off, no gas stations in sight, and the road is far too narrow for them to simply stop. The couple continued on with pitiful efforts to keep each other awake. The darkness was closing in on them, and dreams began to blur with their consciousness. Jerking himself awake, Dave suddenly noticed blaring headlights coming straight at them down the center of the slim two-lane stretch. With a powerful rush of adrenaline, he had become fully aware of the semi-truck barreling towards them at impossible speeds. He was known for being able to react quickly, yet for some reason, he just froze. There was nowhere to go, and everything was happening too fast. He could hear Sydney scream as the powerful headlights consumed their windshield and ultimately their entire vision. So this is the strange tunnel of light people see when they die, he thought sarcastically as time abstractly came to a slow crawl. In an instant, the bright white headlights appeared to shatter into a kaleidoscope of multicolored fragments. The world around them had become nothing more than particles, and a strange feeling of weightlessness overcame them. Feeling as though their consciousness was no longer bound by the limitations of skin and bone, they were floating, hardly existing in timelessness and particulated colors of light. As quickly as the world had shattered, it came back together. Holding tight to the steering wheel, his vision again focused on the same tunnel of light before him. There was a dizziness, a swimming feeling like you get when you stand up too fast. Dave shook his head to regain his composure. He realized that the tunnel of light he was seeing had become his very own headlights beaming down the empty road in front of him. He suddenly became aware that he was still driving, and with a heavy foot on the gas pedal. Upon this realization, he slammed the brakes and sat in a heart-pounding silence. Sydney too sat frozen, wide-eyed beside him. Glancing at each other for a split second and breathing heavily, Dave and Sydney quickly spun around to see the taillights of the semi-truck speeding down the center of the highway behind them. How can this be? The truck, it would have had to go right through us. There's no other way. Sydney asked in a state of shock, and she was right. Dave could not find a logical explanation as to what had just transpired. Perhaps it was a dream of some kind? He suggested. But we're awake, Sydney said, looking back again at the taillights shrinking off in the distance. Her facial expression was that of confusion. Had this really happened? She questioned aloud. In somewhat of a daze, Sydney then relayed her personal experience in specific detail, which was identical to Dave's in every factor. There is no doubt in his mind that for the first time in his life he had witnessed something truly unexplainable, and that which is beyond human understanding. So tell me, my loves, was this divine intervention or simply an intergalactic experience? Have you yourself had a UFO or otherworldly encounter? Please comment down below and like and subscribe for more fictional stories that are often of actual urban legends and sometimes have historical reference. See you next week and have a good night.